Okay, what I'm going to show you with this screencast is how to get started with Eclipse, which is the IDE that we'll be using this semester, and also how to check out the course examples. So first things first, let's get Eclipse, and we'll go to eclipse.org, and we see this orange button here. So we just click on that, and it takes us to the download page, and it lists several options here. But what we're really interested in is this first one, the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. So you can go ahead and click on that, and it'll give you a list of mirrors, and you can download whichever one that you want. So just click on this, and it'll download. Now, in the interest of saving time, I've already downloaded it, and here I'm going to extract it. It downloads, as an archive. For you, if you're Windows, it's probably a zip file. For me, since I'm running Linux here, it's a tar.gz. So anyway, after we extract it, we get this folder or directory, and we can just pop it open and take a look at the inside here. And there's some things, but what's really interesting is the Eclipse executable. For you, it might say eclipse.exe, but in Linux, it's just a little executable, and I run it, and Eclipse should pop up. And the first thing it asks for is this idea of a workspace, which is where Eclipse stores all of the projects. I'm just going to accept the default. You can store your projects wherever you'd like. So Eclipse is going to get started here, and it takes us to this welcome screen. I'm just going to click the little X here on this welcome screen, and this is what Eclipse usually looks like when it starts up. Or rather, this is, the view, or perspective is what it's called, that we'll be using. Now, what I'm going to show is how to get the course examples. Well, the course examples are stored in something called version control. There's lots of different types of version control, lots of different software that accomplishes version control, and I'll actually talk about what this actually is in class at some point. But for now, it's important to know that the version of Eclipse that we just downloaded doesn't actually have the software that we need. So we're going to have to install it. So I'm going to go back to my web browser, and I'm just going to search for subclipse, subclipse. And the first one that comes up, subclipse.tigris.org, is what we want. And we scroll down, and we can see under current release, it says Eclipse 3.2 Callisto and 3.3 Europa, which is what we just downloaded. We downloaded Eclipse 3.3. And what we're looking for is the update site, which is just the second link. So the Eclipse update site URL. So we're just going to copy this URL to the clipboard and switch back to Eclipse. Now that we're back in Eclipse, I'm just going to go to Help, Software Updates, and find and install. This is going to pop up a new window, and we're just going to click the second option, Search for New Features to Install, and we'll click Next. Now this lists a bunch of websites, they call them update sites, that have various Eclipse plugins. Unfortunately, none of the sites listed here actually have the plugin that we're interested in, so we're going to click on the button at the top right that says New Remote Site, and we're going to enter that URL that we just copied. We have to enter a name. We'll just call it Subclipse, and we'll click OK. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Finish, and this will bring up the plugins that the site actually has. So I expanded the Subclipse tree there, and I'm just going to check the one that says Subclipse plugin. We don't need any of the integrations. So then I'm going to click Next, agree to the license, and click Finish. Now this is going to take a minute to download. So what this is actually doing is this is installing the Subclipse plugin, which allows us to talk to Subversion repositories. Subversion is the version control that Google Code uses, and I'm using Google Code to host not only the course site, but also all of the course examples, and all of the sources for the lectures, but that's neither here nor there. The other good thing about version control is that when I make changes to the source code, I commit my changes, and it'll be very simple for you to receive those changes. It'll just be a couple of clicks in Eclipse. So now that this is finished, we're just going to say click install all, plug in, but now we have to install them. And then it's going to ask if we want to restart Eclipse, and we're just going to go ahead and say yes. So this will get restarted. We'll say OK to the workspace again. And now we get the Eclipse screen that we've already seen. Now, I'm going to go to Window, Open Perspective, and I'm going to go ahead and say Other. Now I'm going to click on SVN Repository Exploring and click OK. Now this changes the way Eclipse looks. Every little window in Eclipse is called a view, and a particular collection of views is called a perspective. So the perspective that we were in before was called the Java perspective, which is what you'll usually use. But here we see the SVN Repository Exploring perspective, which is going to let us get at that those course examples. So in this top left window here, I'm just going to right-click and say New Repository Location. And now it presents us with a new dialog asking for a particular URL. Well, this URL is the location. The URL that we need to enter is the location of the Subversion repository that contains all of the course examples. To get that information, I'm going to go back to my web browser and go to the course website, which is just code.google.com/p/luc-cs271. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the tab, the second from the right, the one that says Source. And I'm going to scroll down and look at that second blue box, the one that says non-members may check out a read-only working copy. Now, what we're interested again is this URL, http://luc-cs271.googlecode.com/svn/trunk. So we're going to copy and paste. We're going to copy that and go back to Eclipse and just paste it in, and then we'll go ahead and click Finish. This actually goes out and verifies and makes sure that location exists. And now we're going to expand this so we can actually see the things in the repository. And there's three things. There's CS271 and a couple of other things. What we're really interested in is this CS271. So I'm just going to highlight it and right-click on it and say check. Now this is where the interesting part happens. It actually goes and goes to that remote site at Google Code and sees if there's an Eclipse project out there, and it found the project, so we can just say Finish. Now it's actually going to download all of those files. Now the files are downloaded, but we're still in this SVN repository exploring perspective. So I'm going to go up here to the right to this little double arrow and click on it and click on Java, and that shows the previous perspectives. And this is going to return us to the Java perspective that we originally started out with. And here on the left hand side we see the project that we just checked out. So we can expand this, and inside of source are all the Java sources that we're interested in. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to just change this package representation to hierarchical. I think it's a little cleaner and a little easier to navigate. Now in here we see some packages. The interesting one, and it will be the only one here shortly, is the one that says examples, and it has all of the course examples in there. Now if I go out and I decide to change something, instead of you having to go through this process again, all you need to do is click the project, right-click on it, go to Team, and say Update. This will go out and look for any of the changes that I've made. And if it finds any changes, it'll download them and change your workspace so that it reflects the latest version. And I'll keep you informed as to when I make those changes and when you need to update your examples. All right, that's all. Thanks.